together to fall school districts paying $60,000.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Well, it's not a bright sunny morning, but it's not raining or snowing, so that's good.
I would like that.
Yeah, wait. It is Ohio. All right, let's start off our day by having a moment of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to get together with our friends and neighbors and perform our role of stewardship to thy nation, the nation that was born with the recognition of you as our Creator and the bestower of all of our rights, all of our privileges, all of our freedom. As we go forth through this meeting, let us enjoy this time of fellowship, and after we leave, guide our steps with wisdom and with energy and perseverance for the role that you have granted us. Amen. Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're a little short-staffed this morning. Lisa is home taking care of a couple of sick kids. Might be able to drop by later on her way to the doctor with one of them. Meanwhile, Aniki is here to help with the check-in, etc. And we have a lot of new people here, so please be sure to sign in so we can, with your email address and phone number, so we can get back in touch with you. Let me recognize the elected officials we have in the audience right now. I saw Nancy Abbott, our municipal court clerk. Nancy, would you stand?
Oh, sorry. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning,
We'll be getting to Dave in a little bit. Any others that I might have missed?
Dave.
Oh, Dave Wadsworth. Hey, Dave, what are you doing back there?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Reports.
Thank you. And any others that I might have missed? Oh.
Okay,
Oh,
that's Canada.
okay, we're gonna get the candidates. Now it's Tom's turn.
Now
Tom?
it's your turn, Tom.
Hello, Tom Miller, Canada.
Tom Miller, the sheriff, or next sheriff? Any other candidates? Okay, for the benefit of the people who are here for the first time, first of all, could I see your hands? See how many of it? Okay, very good. Come back and join us again. What we are is a conservative grassroots organization, informal social organization. We're nonpartisan. We got Republicans, Democrats, Independents here. We are politically active. We are very interested in what's going on. We come here to get better educated. Have a website for that purpose as well. And a lot of us actually try to make it different by getting actively involved. And if you want to get more involved in what's going on and actually make a difference, this is a great place to start. Let's start off with some announcements. Homer had a fun one. Where'd you go, Homer? All right. You want to come up here? Or?
No, I can speak from here.
All right.
Lots of years of school business, I've learned to talk loud. Just a reminder of the June 15th greet, meet, I say shoot, Jack here says eat, at Hillendale Club. Representative Hall's going to be there, Representative Batchelder, Senator Obhoff, Congressman Renacci, who am I leaving out, Jack?
Bob Gibbs.
And Congressman Gibbs. Just a chance to meet and greet these people. There will be no long-winded speeches. David assured us of that. But anybody that's interested in shooting should be there about 3 o'clock. There'll be squads going out on the sporting clays course. There will be, the skeet range will be open, and trap range. if you're just coming to meet the candidates and eat, that'll be about 5 o'clock. No charge, but we would like to have you register. We need to know how much food to prepare since Jack's paying for it. He's got to save his penny to get that. There are forms on the table over to registration, and some of you I know have picked up forms from the previous couple of meetings. So try to get your registration in. We need a good turnout for these folks. They need our support.
Thanks, Omar. Yeah, I'm pointing over here. We've got a lot of books and films and pocket constitutions, etc., that are on the table here. Be sure to browse those. Several of them I can see from here are marked 3. We have another announcement from Janie Grow. Where did Janie go? You want to come up here?
No.
Okay.
I'm a retired educator with a big mouth too. Right, Homer?
Right.
Anyway, I connected with the Texas group Through the Vote, and 45 other states have, because they did magnificent things in purging the voting rolls. Not necessarily even just, things that were, well, mostly, I think, if you do the orientation, you hear all about the dirty tricks and awful things that happened in Sheila Jackson's district in Harris County. But they've spent since 2008 learning how to make software to help you work from home and be a researcher that helps purge the rolls of dead people or people who've moved or 50 people who vote from a gas station or an empty lot. And anybody who's interested in doing this, if you want to do the research piece, they just ask you to do 6 hours a week. The orientation stuff through Ohio comes up as Voter Integrity Project. But if you're interested in joining, they need somebody from a county that'll kind of run back and forth with the Board of Elections to turn things in that we find. But it's a great, 45 states are trying to do this, and it takes a while to get started up. So it's just to support our boards of election who have overwhelming things on their plate and often don't get to this. And you can work different counties. It's a big deal, and they see it as service to your county and your state and your community across time. That once the election's over, you start the next day. And we do have a huge amount of dirty tricks going on across the country, and I think we've all learned that they never stop. Even when the vote goes down, they never stop to push towards liberalism. So if you're interested at all in trying to find out more about how to do this, or you just want to sign up, love it if you connect with me. A couple of other people have signed up, Dave Frost and Chuck Reno. So just the more the better.
Absolutely.
45 people there did this the very first time, and I think in Texas, and they purged 3,800. Well, they checked 3,800 registrations, but by now you can do unbelievable amount of connection. They've merged all the public websites for driver's license, social security cards. So they help the person in Ohio that's doing that is in Cincinnati. Marlene Coker's her name. So they set that database up for us in Ohio, and then all we have, I walk through the thing where you just connect. It's sort of fun. They have a Google map where you can see the house, okay, it's an apartment or it's an empty lot, and it goes by address. So it's unbelievable what they figured out and how to do this quickly and make a huge difference. But we do need, and you log in or out as much as you want. Somebody else picks up from where you went. So it's unbelievable software. We just need man hours, 6 a week. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jeannie. Yeah, we think that's a very important project, and it's not like Jeannie's other pet effort, which is going door to door and talking to strange people. A lot of people are, find that hard to do, especially at first. But this one is an easy one. You can work from home at your own time.
If you just want to know about it, truethevote.org. Just click on that.
Right. So you can get in touch with Janie or any of us to get connected with that. It is a very big effort. I think I heard there was that Obama won by 230-some thousand votes in Ohio in 2008. And there were more fraudulent votes than that were cast in that same election. So it is a huge deal, especially in counties like Cuyahoga, which are hugely Democrat. There will be up to 26 families voting from the same apartment.
Well, they do
Something funny about that.
like what, they do things, they work our system. Like one of the things they did was turn in 100,000 new registrations. They turned in 100,000 new registrations in Sheila Jackson Lee's district on the very last day that you could turn any in. Now, what do you think that did to the Board of Elections? They all went through. And just the fact that you're doing this makes people more careful. And I'm not sure yet, because I don't have all the rest of the pieces done, but you can work any county from your home. They just want every county represented.
And then if you find something suspicious, you notify the.
Well,
notify them.
you have to have a leader, like a county leader. I don't want to be the county, and I don't even want to say I'll be the leader yet. Dave Ross and I were talking about it, and I don't know if Chuck would do that. But one person establishes a relationship with the Board of Elections and just brings those in. So you don't have to do much, you know, and I was thinking about doing that.
Yeah, just bring it to their attention. You know, periodically, we do mailings of areas of town, inviting people to meetings like this. For example, we just did Valley City. And it's amazing how many of the letters you get back from people who have moved, are deceased or whatever. And we got that information straight from the voter registration files. So obviously, we're mailing it to people that aren't voting anymore, at least they're not voting legally, not in this precinct. Anyway, I saw the hand back here. Yes.
What is that website again?
True the Vote, TRUE, thevote.org. And they don't really want us to call that in every other state, but that's what they called it, making the vote true. And when you think about as much work as we do to get people registered, let's make sure they're the right people and that they actually exist. And they did a lot of things with nursing homes. It's amazing how much fraud is out there if that's what you want to do.
Gene, how come they can't, if it's Sheila Jackson Lee, if you know it and everybody else knows it, why, how can she get away with that voter fraud?
Well, they're not getting away with it the way they used to because of this kind of thing. And they're saying well, I don't know. I mean,
It's like
I don't know what to say
semi-bonus
about
though,
that.
she's not getting away with it as much as she used to, that's like semi-bonus, what is that? You know, I mean, I'm not taking that out on you.
That's
but-
why we're here.
I know.
That's why we're here. 45 states have knocked on Texas' door to say, what are you doing and can you help us? And I'm like, computers for dummies, you know? And I know I can do this. That you even have somebody, a tech person from Texas that connects with you if you have questions till you get going. So don't be afraid of it. I think you need to have Windows 7 or Vista as XP also.
Or
Thank-
7 or better.
Right, right.
I got 9.
You just said XP is okay.
You know that?
Yes, I just talked to them yesterday.
Good. Good, well, all right. Good, well, it takes a while to get started and there's the next I think the orientations are more often, but the thing for researchers, it takes a little while to get started because they're so overwhelmed. So even if you're thinking about it, it costs $25 to register to be a researcher and then you get the whole spread and they give you the chance to say, no, thank you, I can't do that. But, you know, it's like the perfect thing for people who want to come in and out of doing this that don't have a lot of time.
Jane, the reason I talked to them yesterday, they will give you 2 links via email to the training sessions that they train you. They're what they call energy. There's a give and take between the trainer and you as you do your training. So
Webinar.
it's a webinar. That's correct. Good word. That kind of thing that they do to train the.
Well, I did, have you done that webinar?
I have not. I just
Yeah,
got it yesterday.
It's really interesting, and if you can, they want you to do the orientation first, which tells you all the things that they dealt with that made them do it, and I thought that was really interesting. Yes,
Excuse me, why don't you have this on a sheet of paper so you could put it on each table?
all right,
And that way they could
glad-
write it down.
be glad to do that, because everybody runs out of here and we forget about it. Started, so, good idea. I'll do
Okay,
that.
thank you. All right, that brings us to the main portion of our meeting today. Dave Hall is one of our state representatives. With the new redistricting, Dave Hall no longer represents the southern half of our county. He represents the western half. So, it's gonna, north-south went to east and west at this last redistricting effort. At any rate, we've worked with both Bill Batchelder and Dave Hall very closely. And Medina County is really blessed to have those two guys as our state representatives. They're both conservative and they're both highly effective. Dave is currently the chairman of the, what is it, the Natural
Ag and Natural Resources Committee.
Agriculture and Natural Resources, which is a huge amount of our industry and of our future. And Dave was right on the firing line, and I just heard that Dave was kind of ambushed by some radical environmentalists up in Broadway a little while ago. And I just wish we'd known you were being there, because we run interference for Bill Batchelder and Jim Renacci all the time. We could help you out.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna take you up on that.
All right, so let me just turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jim. Again, it's great to be at MCFAN. I think I've had the opportunity to speak 4 different times through my short career as down at State House. One of the things, I was with the governor yesterday, and we were out and dealing with, talking with 16 different counties, economic development individuals and chambers on southeastern Ohio, and we were discussing the oil shale play. And I said to the governor, I have now spoken to, this will be my 152nd meeting on oil shale, and the governor wanted to know where the 152nd was going to be. And I said, MCFAN. He said, tell him, give him my greetings. And so he was very appreciative of where I was going and the talk that I've talked throughout the state of Ohio on oil shale development. But I want to go kind of step back a little bit. And Speaker Batchelder, January of '09, when we took back the House, had the opportunity to appoint chairman to committees. And Speaker called me up and said, I want you on Ag and Natural Resources Committee chairman. And I said, Speaker, it'd be my honor to serve in that committee and have an opportunity, because I knew we were going with the energy side and on the agriculture opportunities in the state of Ohio, that I figured the chairman of that committee is going to have his pulse on jobs throughout the state of Ohio. So it's been so true in the last almost year and a half in that process. But from there, you got to remember, when we took back the Ohio House and the governor's office and many statewide offices, we had lost under Governor Ted Strickland and the leadership of the Democrats in Ohio House, we had lost over 400,000 jobs. That's awful what we had done, and under the Democrat leadership. Well, under the leadership, we're going to spring forward a little bit, under the leadership of the governor and Speaker Batchelder and the Senate and Senator Alpoff, we were able to, just last week, they announced that Ohio has created over 110,000 new jobs. Unemployment rate's now down to in 7.5%. And Ohio was recognized as the #1 job creator in the nation for last month. #1. When Ted Strickland had the reins, we were number 48. #1 under the reins of our leader, Governor Kasich and Bill Batchelder. It's amazing we just barely begun. 7.5 is too much. We need to be able to do things. And why I'm starting this out, why we're at 7.5 and why we're the #1 job creator in the nation, it's called energy. Energy is starting to be the process of what we're going at and what we had an opportunity. The good Lord has put it under the ground, this shale. A Republican or a Democrat didn't put it there. I tell you, Republicans are gonna get it out in a safe manner, and I'll just tell you what we do. And I'll tell you, it's good to be here after this is my 152nd meeting. Every time I have these meetings, I end up having to go through a security briefing in Columbus, because these meetings throughout the state of Ohio in certain areas, there's a lot of paid protesters, people who are not friendly people, and they're out there, and they will spit on you, threaten you, they'll follow you down the road. They are brought in by vans to basically get people riled up and misinform people on the energy side. So there is attack. There's been attack on coal for the last 25 years. Now they've switched it to oil and gas. And I'm going to tell you what we've designed, and we're going to go through the process. I'm going to go from 30,000 feet to about a crop dusting on an airplane. We're going to talk about this. And a lot of people have talked about, this thing called fracking. That's what the environmental groups are labeled fracking. Well, it's basically called a water well, it's called well stimulus. And we've been doing well stimulus in Ohio in the level of called the vertical well. A lot of wells you see in the Medina area, well, all the wells you see except for the one that was drilled in Lodi, Ohio, it's all been called vertical, and they've all been well stimulus or fracking. They've been fracked. So, people are saying, well, yeah, but this is something new. And I'll tell you folks, I've had testimony and testimony, experts in people talking about this in my committee. We've gone hours and hours, 2:30 in the morning. I decided I was gonna wait them all out. They came and marched on me, and I let them come in front of me, and there's a lot of misinformation. But I'm gonna talk about the vertical well and then the horizontal well process. And so why I'm doing this, because I want to show you a comparison of what's going on. The vertical well that's been drilled since the years of J.D. Rockefeller, when he had Standard Oil of Ohio up in Cleveland. He did a lot of wells in this area. Actually, the history, he did a lot of drilling in this area. So Medina County in this area is nothing new to oil and gas development. But when they drilled back in those days, and even just up to recently, when you drilled a well, and our #1 goal is to protect our greatest resource is water. And when we drilled that well, they drilled down to the water table, which is a few hundred feet, 200 to 400 feet down. And back in those days, the vertical well, the old style wells, they were drilled down, and they were drilled on different methods, and they went through the water table, and they put called a piece of conductor pipe, usually about 8-inch piece of conductor pipe through your water table, and basically drilled all the way down about 3,000 feet below your water table. Then they basically did a couple versions of fracking. The first old style version of well stimulus fracking basically was done by letting loose a bag of nitroglycerin and hit the bottom of the well, and boom. That was the old style of how you stimulated a well. But as technology moved forward in the old vertical wells, they were able to use water to stimulate, water and chemicals to stimulate, and some of it was called an acid frac back in the old days, back all the way up to about the mid-80s, early 90s. So we were able to do that on a piece of casing, and then basically they had a 4-inch piece of casing in the middle of that. So basically you had about 3,000 feet away from your water table in the process of hydrofracking or well stimulus program. But to kind of go with the horizontal, we are going and doing the same process, but we do it a little different. Why do we do it different? Well, I'll tell you why we do it different. To protect our greatest resources, our water. What we've done and required we required the industry to do is when you drill on air now through your water table. Then you put a big 14-inch piece of pipe down through your water table to protect your water table from being polluted. That piece of pipe is hydro pressured at a level about 8,000 pounds PSI. And so you basically got a piece of 14-inch pipe that's pressured to hold back the water. That's basically not much pressure there. But we go beyond that. You gotta remember when I said we did the vertical that way and we drilled it that way. Well, what we've done now is we did the 14-inch piece of pipe. Then what we do, require the industry at a standard to then telescope a piece of 9-inch pipe down through that piece of pipe. So you gotta remember, we're doing another step beyond the old way we did it. The old wells that were hydrofracked. And we telescope that pipe. And guess what we do then? We cement between the 14-inch piece of pipe and the 9-inch piece of pipe. That gives us another level of protection all the way down through our water table. And people say, well, that's kind of a little bit severe to the industry to do that, but we want to protect our greatest resource, our water. Well, then we go a little farther. We tell them to take a piece of 5-inch pipe and telescope it down through there. And we do that, and then we go one more step, and then we cement between the 5-inch and the 9-inch piece of pipe. And all these pieces of pipe are pressure tested at a high range before they even can get down and put into a well. They are pre-tested. So you basically have a triple protection layer on your water table. And so you go down and you do the drilling, you go actually about 7,000 feet below your water table compared to the 3,000 feet. And so you do the hydrofracking with water and certain trace chemicals, and you do the process. And I asked in committee to the experts in the nation, I said, what's the difference between a vertical well hydrofrac to a horizontal hydrofrac? There's no difference. All we have is in the difference of the makeup of the well. We do the triple protection level. And so I did some research and confirmed this with Congressman Gibbs and others in Washington. I had an opportunity to be a keynote speaker about a month ago in Washington on energy, and we discussed this. There's been over 1.2 million wells hydrofracked in the United States. And you know how many have gone bad in the hydrofracking process? 0. There's a lot of misinformation out there, folks. 0. We had an unfortunate incident where a gentleman in Medina County has made the news about his well going bad. It didn't go on the hydrofracking process. He admitted that. But the media has taken up and said, oh, this is hydrofracking. Anything goes wrong is caused by fracking. Folks, the industry, we require them to do things. We now have inspectors on site to make sure they're done right. Well, why are we at where we're at? Because of technology. We have technology out there that allows us to know where we're drilling within 1/8 of an inch. Back in the old days, they just went down there and hoped they hit something, or hopefully didn't get into something they didn't want to get into. So the opportunities are there. And why am I talking about the differences? There's no difference from vertical to horizontal. We're just going down a little farther and going across. As people say, well, it's going to migrate this water and oil. Yes. When you hydrofrack, and you gotta go look at the science of this, and we had the scientists in, and you say, okay, when you're going on vacation or traveling, you see a cut through the interstate and cut through the mountains. You ever see those layers and layers and layers of different rock layers? Think of that, and you're just seeing about 40 feet of that when you're going through the mountains and you see the cut. What do you think you're seeing? Where the geologists are telling us the layers of protection you have